Okay, cool. I think I'm live right now. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Hey, chat. Hey, y'all. Alright. Cool. Alright. Hello. Can you guys hear me, see me? What's up? Can you guys please let me know? Can you hear me? Alright, so just gonna wait. Let me go in over here. Just to maybe have like a more Okay. Alright, cool. Yeah, you guys can hear me. Okay, cool. Okay, so God, I don't even know where to begin with this one. This is like such a fucking shit show. And I'm like it's like one of those things that like all I can do is just sort of shoot from the hip, right? So I'm just gonna ask you guys to be patient with me and try to be a little compassionate while I just wrap my mind around kind of where to start with this and kind of everything that's going on. So, alright. Do I have Odyssey? Yes, I do. It's just a slightly twisted female. Alright, so where did this all start? So technically this started, so I joined YouTube the middle of November, like I think November 17th was my official join day. And so there was like some kind of just conflict between me and another creator regarding like issues with separatism and some other stuff, you know. And listen, I discovered the meaning of radical feminism itself, I think in like October. Okay, so this is all new to me. What's not new to me is being a woman and a human being and involved with women and involved with the care and keeping of women. You know, and I think that's a little bit of frustrating because I think one of the early things that someone had said to me, they're like a very prolific commenter of YouTube channels, was like, you know, and I think also the other person said this too, one of the other content creators said that I should stop talking, read up on radical feminism and learn more about radical feminism, you know, before I start making videos. And it was like so tone deaf because I was like, the fuck does that have? First of all, I don't need a framework to have lived in the world and taken care of women my whole professional life. You know, I was a community childbirth doula, a bereavement doula, and then, you know, I went through the national the NARM, the North American Registry of Midwives pathway to becoming a midwife. You know, I studied and I trained in Taytay Rizal, Philippines, which is about 40 minutes outside of Manila at a high volume birth center called Shifra Benay Panakan. And I took care of hundreds of women there. So I don't need to stop and, you know, learn about a specific framework before I talk about the needs and the issues relating to women. I'm well equipped to talk about needs, you know, and issues that women face. And as soon as I peaked and I always planned to start a YouTube channel, and it wasn't originally going to be gender critical. But I started to peak and I started to tap in on all this stuff, and it felt so urgent to me that the other issues that I had planned for this topic of this channel had to take a back seat because I just felt like never before had we seen any civil rights movement move as quickly as this one had. And this was one that was just deeply illegitimate. and was actually trampling on the civil rights of women. So, anyway, there was this whole conflict again about whether or not I had any authority to talk about women in general, and, maybe I jumped too quickly onto this radical feminism thing, because when I found radical feminism, I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is kind of what I had been looking for. It had been so clear to me that liberal feminism and sex positive feminism and this pro porn feminism and this pro transgender feminism was failing us tremendously. I was seeing so many of my friends ending up as single mothers. I was seeing so many children being born to deeply unstable families. Women were suffering because they were fed a lie that we can keep up with men sexually. That we can just have a bunch of casual sex and go on Tinder, and women are suffering, children are suffering, the family's falling apart. And then I tapped in with the whole transgender issue, and I realized how much this stands to affect my daughters and taking away their opportunities, taking away their spaces. And I started learning more about issues facing lesbians in the lesbian community, and it was like appalling when I realized how much more I felt I understood and had heard the voices of gay men rather than my own lesbian sisters. My first instinct was, oh my God, this is great. And also the whole porn issue. Anyone who's been following, I've been talking about how harmful porn is for a while now. And I really want to get into that as its own topic, because I do think that there are ways to explore like sexual creativity with your own partner. But in terms of this, like watching strangers have sex and this kind of like mindless, self-indulgent consumption of porn, I knew that it was making our men dysfunctional, and which leads to a higher and higher threshold of stimulation and needing more and more to get off. And that was, leading them to act outside of relationships, that was, spreading disease, that was pushing women into uncomfortable role play scenarios. So I was like, oh my God, this sort of fits in. Now, the anti-sex work stuff is something that radical feminism really kind of brought to my awareness, and it made sense. It all makes sense. So anyway, maybe I was premature in just talking about it. But like, I got like a ton of shit, and it was like, you're not a radical feminist because you wear makeup. And then it turned into, I had like included talking about when I introduced me having cancer, talking about, I like shared a snippet of, I had a phone call when I had called my partner to tell him that I had cancer. And after that, it was like, one of the criticisms that I read was, she's always trying to force this relationship with her Nigel on. I was like, oh. It was just weird, because then I realized there was this like whole other side of it that was like, oh, okay, no, it's weird. There's just other shit. So then I had so back in January, I had a Mexican feminist reach out to me, and she was very upset. And I'm going to pull it up right now because I don't want to paraphrase. But she was one of the first people to originally bring up this issue of racism in radical feminism. And when I was first like learning about radical feminism, first started talking about it, some of liberal people that I knew, some of what detractors that I'd read online and stuff were always saying, radical feminism is white feminism. Radical feminism is a branch of white supremacy. And I was like, that makes no fucking sense. And if you actually were tapped into the community, you would know that some of our, most prominent voices are Black women. Karen Davis, RadFem Black. So, it was just like, and I was like, I'm just so tired. It just felt like such a woke liberal move just to call everybody a Nazi. Everybody's a white supremacist. Everyone's a fucking Nazi. Like, all right, cool. Like, everyone that we don't like. You know what I mean? I was like, that's just a way to get people to shut down and not listen. And I just felt like it was a cheap tactic. So I really dismissed it. But I kept hearing it. I kept hearing that, like, radical feminism is white feminism. Radical feminism is somehow associated with neo-Nazism and white nationalism. And I was like, it just didn't fucking make any sense. Not drama is a downfall, stay above it. No, I know. And I think the thing is, and I learned that too. Listen, like I said, I'm so new to doing YouTube, and I'm new to having this sort of level of interaction with people. And I think a lot of it is just discipline. It's discipline. It's, oh, hey, Rex, Landy. Oh my God. Can I just say that, like, I did a whole Rex Landy, like, rabbit hole day. I just did a whole day where I just, like, watched, like, a shitload of videos and interviews having to do with you. And, like, I think you're so cool. You're, like, you like, remind me of who I feel like I'm going to be in a few years. So I really appreciate you and appreciate your work. And I actually I had screen recorded a bunch of your work, and I was going to add it in the last compilation that I made, and I fucking forgot to add. There was a couple clips that I meant to add in and that just got missed. I edited everything off my phone. This, like, really bootleg free video editor that I edited off my phone. So that's why, like, this editing quality is really shitty on some of my videos. But I just want to say hey, and I'm glad that you're here, and I really like your work. So anyway, all right, so let's see. So Rad Mom, for what it's worth, I appreciate you sharing a little of your relationship. Nice to know that I'm not alone. Yeah, and listen, okay, and so I've been meditating on all this for a long time, and I want everyone to know that, like, listen, when I get criticisms, even if, like, I'm kind of, like, sometimes I can be knee-jerky and just react and be, like, defensive, and I recognize that about myself, and I'm trying to be less defensive. But I want people to know that, like, when I hear criticism, I mean, when it's more than just calling me, like, some bimbo whore, like, just, some, like, stupid breeding, whatever. Some of the comments I get are just, like, clearly offensive, like, not productive. I'm like, okay. But then some of them are, like, substantive, but they're, like, harsh, and my first reaction is, like, fuck out of here. But I'll read them, and, sometimes stuff will plant a seed in my brain, and I will. I'll kind of revisit it, and I'll, it'll turn it over in my head. And sometimes I either have to start to incorporate it and evolve, and maybe think, like, maybe there is more to this than I need to look at, and maybe it's challenging me, and maybe that was why my response was that way, or it'll only just strengthen what my position already is. It's like, no, I realize how ridiculous that is, and here's why. But I listen. I'm not above criticism, and I'm not above. I feel like I'm going through a big growth spurt right now. I do feel like I bring a lot of experience to the table, and there's a lot that I've already gone through and come with. But I'm always learning, and I'm always happy to learn, happy to continue to evolve. It's not going to be so easy to get me to abandon what a life's worth of experiences taught me just to belong to some club. You're not going to be able to tell me, well, to be a radical feminist, you have to align with this, and we're going to call you names and tell you that you can't be a part of it until you change. I mean, that I'm not that fucking simple. But, I'm also open to evolution. So, so before I get too far off track, yeah, it's always shocking to find racism in the most surprising places. I think the thing is saying sex is real is like saying cats meow, dogs bark. The whole world knew this until this point, so there will be all sorts. Regardless, we can't welcome Nazis in here. So that's the thing. So that's one of the biggest responses that people said. They're like, oh, but there's shitty people in every group, and yes and no. Because I think that there is a certain extent where we do have a crossover where radical feminism does lend itself to be a particularly ripe breeding ground for some of these types of people. And unless we very explicitly abhor it and call it out and say that it's not welcome here, it will continue to grow, and there will be, it'll just influence what we do. And then when people go to look up and want to learn more about radical feminism, want to learn more about these, branches of understanding the world around us and how we can protect ourselves as women, how we can guide our daughters, they're going to stumble on stuff like this. And it's going to immediately shut them off, right? And so that's why it's so important that we protect this movement by condemning it. So anyway, so back in January, I gotten this message from a Mexican radical feminist who I've interacted with a lot. I can confirm her identity because she messaged me from her private Instagram account. She asked me not to share her identity, and I'm not going to. Some people are like, oh, one of the number one things that people always say, like, oh, how do you know that these are really radical feminists? How do you know? Trust me, listen. I know that it's really hard for us to believe that, like, some people in our own movements are, like, total misogynists, but I can assure you, okay, I have a whole filter of comments that I catch that are just, like, abhorrent. Some of the stuff that's said to me is so fucking, like, mind-blowingly just fucked in the head. So, yeah, no, I can assure you, there are, pieces of shit everywhere. But, alright. This was on January 25th. She goes, hi, I posted some comments on your community tab addressing the parody account because, so when I had issues with this other content creator, I got like 50 million, I was inundated with these parody accounts of me. And I've noticed, I'm not the only one who's had them. And like Ella Androphobia had a bunch. Karen has a bunch on Getter. So it's not just me, but there was like a bunch of people, using my name purposely, like using my real information, whatever, pictures and stuff of me, and saying like disgusting stuff. And it was confusing some people. Some people thought it was me. So it was just whatever. So it said, feel free to delete them if you need to, especially if you're contemplating. Okay. Ow, fuck. Oh my god, I just banged my knee really hard. Sorry. Oh, that really hurt. Can you guys hear me? I just realized that my mic's far away. Fuck, I just really banged my knee. Alright, excuse me. So one thing I found out may be of interest of you. While swimming in much of that lolcow site, I encountered a pocket of extremists I was unaware of. So for some of you who may know, there's this like, what is it called? So there's like something farms. There's some big message board site, and one of the message boards like focuses heavily on radical feminism, and a lot of it's just like talking about different like content creators and like all this sort of stuff. And then there's something which I think is like an offshoot of it is called like lolcow something, and it's like it's just all shit posting. It's just basically like anonymous accounts like ripping apart various people. It's so, there's so much of it to go through. It's like pages and pages and pages of like clearly like losers. I'm sorry, but like fucking loser people spending hours and hours and hours and hours like obsessing over internet personalities that they've never met. And just saying like just all really like just debased stuff. It is a big problem that it is a big problem though. The more American working class women that speak up about it, the better. Dun, da, da, da. They're savage down to the farms. Yeah, they are, but it's like also at the same time, like you got to step back and be like, who are these fucking losers? And let me be very clear, okay? I'm pretty good at data mining myself. So my background, one of my degrees is in electronic and time-based media, and I did a lot of interactive like web design and animation and 3D stuff. I had a dual degree in my undergrad. And so I do have a programming background and I'm pretty good at data mining. I'm a little rusty with my skills, but I still got it. So I think I have like unique abilities to find out who people are if they have a sort of footprint on the internet. And I found out who some of my trolls are, and trust me, once you find out who some of these people are, you're like, oh oh okay. Okay, well, now I understand where the fucking misery comes from, because holy fucking shit. And that's another thing we've got to realize. A lot of people who are coming, who are like anonymous and who are like real latched on to like hating on somebody or like being real like a lot of these people are coming from trauma. And we also have to remember a lot of women come to radical feminism from trauma. Okay, they come from trauma. And before I go any further, let me be very clear. Separatism, the idea of female separatism is a precious concept that we must not only fight to maintain, that's the whole point of this whole Troon thing. We have to fight to make sure that women have spaces in society that and listen, I'm a survivor of domestic violence, right? I would fight for any woman who has survived domestic violence at the hands of a man, or rape or assault, that she had the opportunity to live amongst other women. I've been, trust me, okay? I know I've worked with communities of domestic violence, of domestic abuse survivors, all women who were pregnant or who newly postpartum, who all lived together. And it's part of a 501c3 nonprofit, okay? Absolutely. This is a crucial and precious and critical concept that we need to implement. We need to give women and the option and the ability to live in female-only spaces, to have even communes, even places where it's only women supporting women. And that can go from as extreme as just all women supporting women, dealing with women, living amongst women, to even, a more distilled version of just, a less distilled version of just, only supporting female-only businesses or whatever, okay? So there's a whole gradient spectrum. And the thing is, I think it is absolutely crucial to support and uphold the concept of separatism. That's the whole point of fighting against men in our spaces. That's what we're protecting. Female separatism. Female separatism in sports, female separatism in our bathrooms, female separatism, our ability to live amongst each other, and the idea that separatism between sexes as a class is not the same as separatism, racial separatism. Right? So one of the biggest things that you'll hear is, oh, okay. So that's kind of where I originally thought that gaslighting came from. When they're like, oh, anybody who's gender critical or anybody who is a radical feminist also, must believe in like racial segregation and stuff too, because it's the same thing. It's like, no, asshole, you know that it's not the same thing. And it's important that we clarify that it's not the same thing. But then I started to tap into it. So let me finish reading sorry. So, all right. So this like low-cal farms, which is like, I like skin. These people are, I'm sorry, losers. And it's like, I just, anybody who's coming from a place of pain or coming from a place of like, you're so just fucked in your own life, or coming from your, listen, I've been there. I've been a nasty troll online. Trust me, okay? We all have. I don't think that there's anybody on here who hasn't said that they haven't been a fucking nasty troll at some point in their life, even on some small degree. All I can say is that sort of negativity doesn't heal you. It breeds more negativity in your own life. You're not healing yourself. You're not walking away feeling better. Okay, you're only. And then when you start to hear this negativity echoed back to you, and it feeds it and it grows, you're just growing in this toxic stew. You gotta let that shit go. You gotta let that shit go. Alright. So, alright, it says, apparently there's a group of, alright. While swimming in much of that locale site, I encountered a pocket of extremists that I was unaware of. Apparently, there's a group of the RadFem community that's very white, elitist, and highly racist. These RadFems are using separatism as a justification for racism. It seems that these women are hiding in 4chan and sites like locale and still are very fringe. Let me just check the chat real quick. So I've seen people say the feminists are a thing. Yeah. Let's see. The point, facts. If trolls and racists come and visit, then it's clear there's no proper Right. Women are right. So, yeah. We as women are, and also listen. And let's be very clear. Another thing is they'll say like, oh, sex is a social construct. No. Race is actually a social construct. Sex is not. Sex is a biological reality. Race is an actual social construct, okay? There is no, what we define as who's one race and who's another. It is based on very superficial things. There's no, these are just little minute variations. The reason why it's like, yeah, they're just adaptations. People who developed closer to the equator had darker skin to protect against UV damage. People who lived higher up in the mountains developed to be shorter and more, have flatter feet to be able to handle higher altitude. Same thing with straight hair. There's even something to do with, the almond shape of Asian eyes has to do with something to do with the air humidity or something, whatever. All that is just the human body, the human organism evolving different traits to acclimate and to be able to take care of itself in different geographical locations across the earth. Okay, that doesn't mean that we're somehow different species or somehow different complete groups. No, but we do, there are different cultures and things that are important and we should be aware of. And it is very new that we're now all in contact with each other and that we're able to move so quickly. So anyway, it says these RadFems are using separatism as a justification for racism. It seems that these women are hiding in 4chan and sites like lolcount are still very fringe. There's another site called Let's Go Separatist that hosts these ideology. And let me tell you, I found Let's Go Separatist. I fucking fell down that rabbit hole, and that place was a shit show. Okay. Alright, so let's see. There's another site called Alright, there's another site called Let's Go Separatist that hosts these ideology. I'm posting a couple of quotes from the site below. Quote, public castration with a hot iron wouldn't quite be enough of a punishment for these animals. They should be publicly raped by a fellow black animal for weeks, maybe months on end, then castrated with a hot iron. Quote, we used to say that you can't take black out of Africa. Oh, and listen, okay, let me be very, some of the stuff I'm about to say is really, really upsetting, okay? It was upset. My daughters are phenotypically black. Okay, like if you saw my daughter with a black family, you wouldn't question that she belonged to them. So she's biracial, but she's very passing as, you know, a full American. I mean, most American black people in America are, I think, on average, like 75% sub-Saharan African and 25% European or 20% European. So most black Americans at this point are multiracial or biracial. But so this stuff was really hard for me to process. Um, so understand that some of this stuff is going to be really emotional. It's emotional for me. Okay, so let's see. We used to say that you could take a black out of Africa, but you can't. And obviously, I condemn all of this, okay? So my daughter's father's African. He's West African. Um, you could take a black out of Africa, but you can't take the Africa out of a black. Now that the U.S. has become home to the mostly mulatto population, now that the U.S. has become home to the mostly mulatto population, thanks to those irrational, via testosterone, quote, white and Jew men who like to fuck slave women, thus creating a new race that the cryptics have been weaponizing against white people for the past 60 years. And she said, so this is back to the Mexican feminist, she said, both of these comments were referring to an article about black rapists. Nevertheless, is hardcore racism. If there is a group of female white supremacists pushing separatists and using rape as a mean to justify racial purity, then this is problematic. She said, it breaks my heart that these women are approaching women of color, feminists, and Latina feminists and using separatism as a way to offer, hold on, fuck, this is out of order. You know, I have it on here. Sorry, guys. Let's see. Sorry, I have it on here. I missed one of them that's important to what she was saying. Okay, she goes, it breaks my heart that these women are approaching women of color feminists and Latina feminists and using separatism as a way to offer a safe haven from violence while pushing Nazi ideas. I'm in fucking tears, Brittany. I'm like such a crybaby because I want to cry. She said, I am Latina and a feminist. Yes, violence against women is a higher priority, or is higher in poverty-suffering countries, which is why some of those women are desperate for an escape from violence. When you're so vulnerable, and your choice is violence or Nazi RadFem camp, you feel trapped into accepting the violence or sorry, this is just, I think it's triggering for me because it's like I understand it because again, like I was a victim of domestic violence. I understand like wanting to get away from this stuff and it would just be like, you know, and I think of like Latina women or the black women that I've loved and I've cared for, you know, and have been through things too. And it's like, it's just like trauma on top of trauma. Like, we don't need to be doing this to other women. It says you'll be trapped into accepting the violence or accepting the racist second-class citizen treatment. This is even more insidious when these rad Nazis dogpile on the women who turn down separatist lifestyle and victim blame. I don't think these rad Nazi women can imagine feeling so desperate for an escape to the shitty hand that poverty is. She said, what these women will never understand is what it's like to desire to succeed so badly it hurts. Not because of some capitalist ambition, but because your life and the life of your kids depends on it. Sorry, it's just like... So, alright, so I looked into what she was talking about. And here's another thing too. So yesterday I started I kind of shot off the hip because I was like, so like, holy shit. And I started taking screenshots and I was posting it. And the thing that's crazy is within like the 12 hours or whatever that I started posting it and talking about it, both of these sites went private. And it's just interesting because it's like, oh, and everybody's like, oh, well, these have nothing to do with, the radical feminists that we deal with. This has nothing to do with our own groups. If that's true, then how is it that I have, let's see, how many followers do I have on my Getter? I have 218 followers on my Getter. Okay, my Getter is like non-existent. Okay, even my YouTube channel is pretty small. Very small. Right? I have 218 followers, and then on my Instagram, I have like 500 followers. Okay? I have very tiny following. So the fact that I started talking about this, and I've known, because I've checked in with these have been public for a long, long time. I started talking about it, a few people responded, and then all of a sudden, within a couple of hours, they're both private. So that only leads me to believe that there is some connection to our community, that some people following, and I will say, like, so some of the worst trolls I get will be like, oh, like, you're such a lol cow, I love all the fresh lol cow milk that you give from, your big fake titties, lol cow mommy, you're just such a good mommy, like, really fucking weird shit. Give us all of your, like, lol cow milk, that it's like, and then I would, like, a lot of that sort of writing, obviously, I found is from, like, that lol cow farms website, and then also, a lot of the type of, like, other weird comments that I get were just so similar to some of the writing that's in some of these blogs. Some of the stuff, just, like, the really, really, like, offensively degrading stuff about, my partner, my children, me as a mother, like, really, like, just vulgar. Not even like, I disagree with your ideas on traditional family, and that, like, it's like really fucking disgusting stuff. And it was like just really similar to the writing. As soon as I started talking about it, both of these went private. But they're idiots, because you can still bring up an archive of any website, pretty much. Mex said, I made exactly one YouTube video because a racist white RadFem viciously attacked me and called me a whore and made several videos attacking me. Yo, I'm telling you, same thing. Yo, and the thing is, it's like, I have a really thick skin. I've been through a lot of shit in my life, okay? So, calling me a whore and, like, all that kind of shit, yo, you're going to have to do a whole lot better to run me off. Especially if I'm doing this for my children, which is why I'm here. I'm here for my daughters, to create a fucking blueprint for them, so that they can protect themselves, protect their interests, and live the best life. You got me fucked up if you think that, mocking me for breastfeeding? Huh? Yo, huh? Mocking me for what? For being at I've been called Mud Shark, which is a white woman who's involved with black men. I've heard all of that shit before. Like, you're gonna have to do a little fucking better than call it, oh, I'm a breeder. I'm okay, and what? Like, yeah, schoolyard bullies. Big boobs equals mommy and milk joke. No boobs equals you're male to female. No, and that's exactly what it is. And it's like, it really is. It's all this like weird, this hyperfixation on what I look like, my breasts, my body, my face, like, you know, whether I'm wearing makeup. If I don't wear makeup, then they say that I look like I'm on drugs and I look sick, and did I stay up all night drinking, you know? And, oh, we see why you wear makeup. And listen, all this stuff I can back up. I take screenshots of everything. I'm like this receipt queen, okay? So I have screenshots of fucking like everything. Let's see. Oh, and I wanna make sure to stay on top of the chat as well. And I'm gonna show you guys. So anyway, I have an archive of the sites. So just so you guys know that we're not just like making this up. I had a very hurtful experience in a radical feminist gathering. I know firsthand just how racist and dismissive some of these women can be to Black and Latino women. Let's see. But I would need proof. And listen, Moody on Rudy says there are swaths of ignorance, and that includes all colors. Unfortunately, none of us know everything, but I would need proof. Sorry. Listen, and that's the thing. And I don't think any of us should go off of anything. So there was I should just go off of knee jerk. And that's why there was one of the other YouTube content creators, before I get to the two fucking ungodly websites, who I guess turned out to be a moderator of some like neo-Nazi 4chan or something like that. I don't know. Well, I tried joining Discord. I don't even know how to like accept friend requests. I don't understand how that works. Okay, I'm really sorry. Like, I just don't. I'm like, this is like where I start to feel old. So even like 4chan, I understand Reddit, okay, I understand Instagram, I understand Getter, I'm okay on Twitter, and I'm good at YouTube. But like some of the other stuff I don't understand. And so, there was a content creator on YouTube. My intention is not to burn her at the stake. I think she's pretty young, or, youngish, in her late 20s or something like that. And I guess she was part of like, they say neo-Nazi, maybe it was neo-Nazi thing, and a lot of it was out of context screenshots, and I wanted to like really look at it. And here's the thing. I want to be better than this whole, let's just all freak out and nuke everything and cancel everybody. Okay. I think that we really need to be better than that, and I think that we need to give people an opportunity to grow and to learn from stuff and to not be tethered to one moment in their lives. That's what makes people terrified of ever saying sorry or ever acknowledging wrong. We need to be a place where it's okay to make fucking fucked up mistakes, and not just push people. So, because what are we pushing her back to? If we sit there and burn her at the stake, make this big example of her, we're just pushing her back to more, we're just confirming that, pushing her back to more neo-Nazi shit, right? So I had offered her, I had like an open invitation for her to come on, have a conversation with me. Again, I'm the mother of like Black daughters. My boyfriend was like born during the crack epidemic, in the inner city. So, I'm white, okay? But I do have a very multiracial family, and, I feel like let's make this a conversation. And I think that and then when I first started talking about this too, someone had came forward to me and was talking about like another white RadFem YouTuber from Canada. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. And they're like, oh, well, she was talking about, Black violence and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, but that, listen, it's okay to talk about certain things. One thing that I've heard from a lot of Black feminists and a lot of Black women in my own life is that part of this whole hyper woke thing and these like super liberal, and sorry, I know a lot of you guys are liberals, okay? And I know I clown liberals a lot. Don't take it personal. We can just like agree to disagree. But like a lot of like liberals, like especially these like woke white liberals, will, go so far to prove how like not racist they are that they'll excuse certain aspects of like really bad behavior from Black men. The fact of the matter is that there is an issue of violence in Black communities that is disproportionately impacting black women and children. When we can't acknowledge that or acknowledge that it's happening, we're abandoning black women. We're abandoning black children who are telling us that they are desperate for solutions. It's okay to talk about the reality of certain things. It's okay to acknowledge stuff. We don't need to live in this super sanitized, politically correct, kind of just like bullshit fairy tale land. Okay, but that isn't dehumanizing people and calling them animals. Okay, my own partner, like I said, he was born during the crack epidemic in the late 80s. When he was 2, his mom left him in a North Philly bando, left him to die. They found him and his his big brother is 5 years old. He was 2. He was dying of dehydration and pneumonia. He spent 6 months at the Children's Hospital being rehabilitated before he entered the Philadelphia, the Philadelphia foster care system. Okay, but we can acknowledge certain realities. He, if anybody, knows that violence in his own community is a real problem. I know that. I have family. Right now, Philadelphia, my city, is one of the most dangerous cities in America. Gun violence is out of control. We can acknowledge these things. You know who's trapped in it right now? My little cousins. My little cousins are on a street right now where there's a fucking a rap battle beef. A rap fucking battle beef. Drill rappers. Drill rap has taken over our city. There's a now rap battle beef. They're all shooting at each other and filming it for YouTube to show who punked who and who did what. Well, guess what? My aunt and my nieces live on that street. 2 boys were just killed in the past year on that street. Houses are getting shot up. So we can talk about stuff. But when we're dehumanizing people and saying it's because they're animals and it's because of this, well, let's go a little bit further back. What about the 1994 crime bill? Okay, let's talk about what the welfare state has done to communities. We can talk realistically about real issues without dehumanizing people. Black women are disproportionately affected by domestic violence. And when we sit there and we go on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, we pretend like we're so woke and I don't see color. I don't see black. I just see people. Then we're not acknowledging when they're telling us they need help. They need solutions. So there's problems with both extremes. Okay, at the end of the day, the most important thing is we need to have class solidarity. We need to have class solidarity. We need to recognize, we need to let black women tell us what their needs are. We need to let Latina women tell us what their needs are. And, by the way, not all Latina is not a monolith either. There's Caribbean Latina women. There's South American women. There's Central American women. Radical feminism has to be able to tailor itself to protect all of us and let individual groups of women, let lesbian women be the experts on how radical feminism should address the needs of lesbian women. And I think that we have some, few core tenets like anti-porn, anti-sex work, anti-exploitation. The opposite of choice feminism is not prescriptive feminism. It's not telling women what they need. It's critical feminism. It's teaching women how to be critical of the decisions that they make. It's teaching women how to be critical of the messages that they're being given about what it means to be a woman and what their role in society is and what they should accept. So with that being said, okay, we cannot allow this to be a fucking haven for any of this shit. And if it's happening, pretending like it's not there. I think what really fucking triggered me too, and I'm going to finally get to this website, and I think what really fucking triggered me too was when we all know, sorry, I gotta really have to grow up. I'm gonna have to eventually either talk to this person, or we're gonna have to do a celebrity boxing match, or agree to disagree or something. There's another YouTuber who don't really get along with. It's not that serious. Like, she's not a piece of shit or anything like that. I just think that we have very different perspectives on things, and things have gotten really too far out of hand between us, whatever. But I was triggered by it. They came forward and did these kind of like real like, oh, let's highlight some like black women in radical feminism, and the comment that really triggered me was, I'm just so, I don't want to paraphrase, because I don't think I should paraphrase. I think I should say exactly what was said. And this is what triggered me. Is that the idea that any woman would see radical feminism as a haven for racism really breaks my spirit. Feminism benefits all women, but not every viewpoint has a home here. So the idea that any woman would see radical feminism as a haven for racism is what breaks your spirit. Not the fact that black women are telling you that this is what they're experiencing. And let me be clear, this isn't me coming up with, these are black women. Here, I'm going to show you, it's not there anymore. So this originally, let me pull it up. This originally all came down from the reveal of the fact that one content creator was involved in moderating. Again, this is not to burn her at the stake, and I didn't even want to really I feel like I really went back and forth about whether or not I should reveal her name, or I think most of us know who it is now. I don't want to burn her at the stake. I don't think she should be canceled. I think that she should be confronted. I think that she should have to confront black women and have to confront how this harms other people, how this harms the people that she targeted. I think that there is a way through this. There's a way through healing. And I think that there's a way through, when we make it so that people are canceled and excommunicated and da-da-da-da-da. It's like we're not teaching people how to grow from things. We're teaching people to hide from their past. So let's give people an opportunity to confront stuff, and let's let the people who felt hurt by this stuff come forward and confront it and challenge it. So, it's so dismissive. Abel, yes, she was white, had several black step siblings of some kind, of white parents were abusive. So she apparently ended up feeling more comfortable expressing her race as black. I don't know what that's about. I used to say that in defense of white women, and they shit on us. And that's the thing. Listen, if we keep... What I see is this goes back and forth, okay? So when I was pregnant with my daughter, who I knew was going to be phenotypically probably very black looking, and this is what my hair looks like, okay? Let me see if I can get a picture of what my daughter's hair looks like without showing you guys what she looks like. All right. So this is what my daughter's hair looks like, okay? As you guys can see, it is very different from my hair. Very, very different from my hair. So, and I was excited, and I was so excited about, and I remember I'd first come on a black girl, I think it was called Black Girl Hair Care on Instagram, and I was like, hey, I'm the mom of I'm the soon-to-be mom of a mixed race girl who's gonna have curly hair, I'm sure. How can I learn about curl patterns and doing hair? Probably whatever. Maybe I sounded like an ignorant white lady, whatever. Some of the responses were really sweet and accommodating, and they sent me resources. But then I got one response that was white women have no business having black children whose hair that they don't know how to take care of, and basically said if you cared about your daughter, you would abort her. And at first I was like, ew, that's a disgusting troll thing to say. But I expected everybody was going to be like, ew, get out of here. But I noticed that a bunch of people started liking the comment. And I was like, wow. And so I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And I responded. And then other people kind of chimed in to support what she said. And I was like, wow, what the fuck? So, and I just think that the internet just becomes this echo chamber for people who have been hurt and have been frustrated to anonymously show the ugliest sides of stuff, and then it turns into like real sense of like trauma or hurt or anger from another side. And I could have like gone and built that up to be hateful, but like I was raised by black women, raised me as a mother. You know, black women have been my tribe. During the worst times of my life, black women pulled me out of the worst times of my life. So there's no fucked up thing someone on the internet could say to me to ever make me turn my back on black women or to denounce them as my tribe. I get that I'm gonna get comments, you know, especially having a mixed race daughter. I'm gonna get, you know, stupid things, and that's okay, because, you know, I always just chalk that up to, you know, women are coming from a place of hurt. I know that, you know, black women have been really underprotected and underappreciated by black men. I know that white women have been really shitty. So, you know, we've got to come to a place of healing where we can express things and you know, not get trapped in these fucking toxic echo chambers. Okay, so, alright. So, I like, kind of hate even. Oh, it's not there anymore. I forgot. The whole thing got pulled down, but I have it. Hold on, I'm going to pull it up. I like really don't like exposing this person. Please let me be clear. This is not the point, is to expose this person. I really think a lot of it is just very like edgy humor and like edgelord humor. You know, I that's why I really want to invite this person to like, come on with me. Let's fucking confront this shit head on. You know, let's just confront this shit head on. Let's just do it. Okay. And let's be hard on her. Let's confront her with the shit. Let's be hard on her so that rather than holding in the anger that we have for maybe some of the things that she said or some of the ideas that she's promoted, and then letting that ball up into hatred. Now I have a resentment towards white women. Now I don't trust any of the white women in the movement. Now I don't think that this white woman, you know, with a black daughter is doing it for the right reasons, you know. And I get it. Listen, I also get like white women fetishizing mixed kids. That's a real problem too. Ew. You should hear some of the comments that like some of my friends say to me, like, oh my God, like, oh, I definitely want to have mixed kids. Oh my God. Yeah. Like, I just think it's so boring. I've literally had a friend tell me that it's boring to have a monoracial child. I was like, yo, like, get away from me. Like, my child is not an object, okay? For the love of God. So, listen, and okay, so, fuck, I, like, don't want to just expose her. But I'm going to say what her name is, and I think it's the right thing on behalf of the women who are hurt. So this is Smoking Feds, somebody who I co-signed. I'm like saging myself because I'm like anxious as fuck. I don't get off on hurting other women, even the women who fucking annoy the shit out of me. I know I'm maybe less lenient towards them, but it still doesn't make me feel good to fucking like, you know, bash anybody. I think the best thing for us to do is please come on with me. Let's have a conversation. Let's let people confront you about it. And let's, you know what, go through the fire. You said the stuff. It's been exposed. It's out there now. There's no unexposing it. Just face it. You know what we talk about in birth too? So, and anybody who's ever had a natural birth, the hardest part there's two hardest times. It's transition. When you transition from being 10 centimeters dilated to pushing to when the head, have you guys ever watched like a home or a birth, like a vaginal birth? They call it the ring of fire. So when the head is pushing through the vagina and it's like the perineum is like so tight and it's like, please don't burst, please don't rip. That is the most painful moment. And then finally the head pushes through and it's just like, oh my fucking God, thank you. But they call it the ring of fire. And there's this time where it hurts so bad and you see a lot of like women, especially first time moms, and they try to run from it. And they're like, oh my God. And I did it too. And you're like, please, stop, make it stop. And you want to like push the kid back in. You're like, get it. And you're like, and you have to tell them, like, listen, the only way through this is through it. You can't run back from it. The baby's coming. You try to hold on and clench down, you're just prolonging the inevitable. You're prolonging your pain. You've got to push through the pain. And then you push through, and then you're just like, holy fucking shit. Okay. Holy shit, that was a lot better. And it was like, you'll never forget that pain, and it was crazy, but you got through it, and you realized that it was like, holy shit, I did it. I fucking did it. Like, I gave birth to a baby. It's crazy. So, I think it's like that. I think it's one of those things that it seems so painful and difficult to like, so difficult to have to push through this really difficult, painful thing. But let's just push through it, and let's let Black women, let's let Latino women, let's let Indigenous women who read those things and had to relive the trauma of racism through your words confront you about it. And let's learn from it, okay? Let's just do that. Okay, yeah, I'm Black, look fully Black, but my DNA test came back with 10% European ancestry. Shocked. Yeah, no, I know. My best friend, same thing. She was so shocked too that she came back with 70% Black ancestry when she did her ancestry.com, especially if you're American. And actually, even Africans have a lot of Arab blood, so that's why I really want to get my daughter tested. Let's see. My white college roommate called N-word lover in 2009 when her white boyfriend from VA State found out that she had slept with a few Black athletes. I was shocked. Oh yeah, Mech, I get called mud shark. Yeah, N-lover. Yeah, all of it. Oh, ghosts. I can't. It's stuff I can't even repeat. Yeah, if you see my takedown of Aaron Kimberly, so much of this is their own internalized homophobia, raging at feminists. Let's see. All right. Folks should be able to survive being confronted about something. Everything isn't canceling at the end of the world thing. Some stuff is discourse. Meg, I really appreciate that. And I agree. Like, I really think that we've learned what this whole cancel mob culture turns into. It's not what we want. It's not going to get us where we want to go. It turns into everybody's walking on eggshells. Everybody's super politically correct. People get hurt. Political correctness is hurting Black women when we can't talk about the violence of Black men because we don't even want to talk about, we want to be so politically correct and we're so afraid. We cannot. These cancel mobs. It's got to stop. It's got to stop when we can't even talk about the fact that, trans women are really men because we're so afraid of being canceled. Well, guess who's getting thrown under the bus? Women. Okay? It's still the most marginalized groups who are still going to continue to be thrown under the bus. A lot of times it's women. But the political correctness is not a safety net. It can be very dangerous in its own right. I'm not sure why so many Black Americans are surprised by white DNA. Where do they think they got the light screen and green eyes mixed in our families come from? Half my cousins have green eyes. Yeah, it's actually interesting. My boyfriend and I, we tracked a lot of his DNA, a lot of his ancestry back to the South. I think he was in Virginia. And then his family came up during the Great Migration to Philadelphia during industrialization. It was actually kind of cool. But he's super light skinned. He obviously is mixed. He's mixed, but it's there's no one white ancestor. You know what I mean? It's just a bunch of his whole family is Black, but varying degrees of light to darker skin Black people in his family. But there's no one white, one clearly African ancestor that we can find. So it must have just gone back a while. All right, so let's pull this up. Let's just fucking do it. Oh shit. Sorry guys, I've been talking for a long time. There's just a lot to talk about. No, that's not it. Hold on. Yeah, sorry, I don't wanna fuck. Okay, wait, here we go. Alright. The legitimate conversation. Okay, so this is one of the things that I had posted. Here, let me move this out of the way. Let me move my face out of the way. Alright. So, this is somebody named Ja Evels Saint Femme, and I think she took down the thread, and because I just want to look for it and it's not there. But I know that this person identifies as a radical feminist. She's a black radical feminist. And after she had posted this thread, a lot of people were saying, oh, we've been calling this person out for a long time. You're not listening to us. And then it became a conversation of, black RadFems feeling like they're not listened to. And listen, if this is what women, especially women who are a minority in our group, are saying, if they're saying we feel like we're not being listened to, then that's fucking something to listen to, you guys. Hold on, let me take this. So, alright, okay, so that's what that came from. Hold on, let me see. So, because everybody wants proof, and again, I do think that we should talk about stuff with proof, and not just so here's the proof, we're going to quick look at it, then let's just not keep re-traumatizing ourselves, and let's not this person does not need to be burned and stampeded. All of this is fucking disgusting, okay? And I'm just going to say it very, very clearly. Everything that I saw her talking about and doing in this 4chan is fucking disgusting, okay? And I think where a lot of this racial extremism, this is kind of what I was getting into before about people kind of talking shit about me, having a mixed daughter and stuff like that. I understand where a lot of the hostility comes from. I've had a lot of hostility from black women towards me having a relationship with black men. And it used to hurt my feelings. But luckily, I've had black women who really love me. And who love me enough to be honest with me and to talk to me about things, and who I've, my black women are the godmothers of my daughters. They are my de facto sisters. My mother-in-law is a black woman from West Africa. Black women have loved me my entire adult life and have cared for me, have raised me as a mother, have taken care of me. So what I've learned, is that, again, a lot of it comes from this sort of pain of, there's this idea of black men treating, and again, it all comes down to objectifying women. White women are not in a better state here, but it's, objectifying women and seeing, white women now are this trophy of, oh, look, this, of success and whatever, and black men have weaponized interracial dating, not because it's they're dating white women because out of love and truly oh, this is my person. Again, it's about, oh, this is a trophy, this is my proof that I've whatever. How degrading and dehumanizing is that to the women who have birthed you, who have raised you, who have taken care of you your whole life. Right? So, again, a lot of it comes from going back and forth, trauma, and the worst thing for us as women to do is to take the way that we are being weaponized against other women, which we've been weaponized against each other since time immemorial, and to take that as hating each other. And I think that sometimes, so now, then another thing, a thing that I read was, a lot of women expressing pain over the whole Karen trope. Let's see. Max says, black men intentionally create antagonism between black women and white women, so we fight over them and use white women to try to make us feel inferior. Yo, I'm going to say something really, really real. One time I was dating this one black man, and he and his friends, it was me, I was the only woman, that was already the first one, I was the only woman in the fucking room. It was me, him, and his cousins, and a couple of his friends. And they all started trying to fucking impress me by complaining about black women in front of me. As if that was good, as if that was uplifting me. They believed that to make me feel good or feel cool or special was they were telling me about how this and that black women are, and y'all are not like this. And I was like, I remember, like, my jaw fucking dropping. And I was like, are you fucking kidding? Like, I literally, like, you guys know I'm a crybaby because I've cried on stream, like, so many times. But, like, I literally wanted to cry. I wanted to cry because I was like, I just kept imagining, like, women that I loved. And I was like, if you think that this is a way to impress me, if you think that this is somehow uplifting me by tearing other women down, or also objectifying me as if I'm like some kind of docile, as if like I won't put you in your place also, or as if, you know, women or black women who have legitimate reasons to be frustrated, the fact, like, all the shit that they've been through in the last few decades, and if it's like, literally just sat there and thought that the fucking way to win me over was to sit there and just rail on black women. And I got the fuck out of there. I was like, hey, listen, so I'm gonna get going. I wish so bad, too, that I had stood up and said something and was like, are you guys fucking kidding me? I just remember feeling so shocked and, like, not knowing what to say. And I hate how many times I felt that in my life, where, like, men will do things that are so shocking and, like, degrading and misogynistic, and just not having the fucking words to speak up and to stop it and to say, ew, are you fucking kidding me? And it's so true, Mac. It's so true that the idea of, like, using women to weaponize against each other, because at the end of the day, women are our most precious allies. And I've learned, one of the greatest things that I learned, and I'm glad that I learned it fairly early, is how precious women are in my life. As a mother, when I was going through the worst of things, women were the first ones to come take my children, you know, to come help me when I'm sick. Over in the other room is my best friend who moved in with me when I had cancer, so that she could, like, drive us. Whatever. I'm emotional. You guys are just going to have to deal with it. In the other room is my best friend who moved in with me last summer. We just talked about how it's been a year since she moved in, and we were just laughing about it today when I got cancer, so she could drive me to appointments, because I couldn't drive. I couldn't drive myself home from surgeries and things like that, so she could be here for me, so she could, you know, help take care of me and take care of my kids. You know, at the worst times in my life, it was women who stepped in. You know, it was women. It was always been women. It was women who sat and held my hand when I was giving birth. You know, it was women who visited me when I was going. I mean, when I was getting out of my abusive marriage, it was women who sat with me. It was women who went down to the courthouse with me and got my gun license with me, who filed for my restraining orders with me. The worst thing that they can do to us, and the worst thing that we can do to ourselves, is to buy the lie that other women are enemies and to allow them to divide us. Our greatest power is in each other. Bye, Abel. So anyway, so sorry, I didn't mean to, like, leave this up. So anyway, it says, so smoking feds is a racist and a neo-Nazi. So this, I'm not going to read through all of it. It's just fucking traumatic. But people want proof, and I do think that people, you know, deserve to have some kind of proof. It's fine. Because it was said. It's the truth. Let's see. So I just want to make sure I'm staying on top of the, Claudia N says, absolutely, political correctness is constrictive and just holds everyone back. People, rather people be honest, and then you can disagree and keep your distance, talk about it, ask about it, and so on. Exactly. And also, we've got to be willing and able to let go of toxic stuff. Okay? There are going to be times where we've got to be able to talk about stuff, but not need to, like, dig our heels in about stuff. Sometimes we got to be, like, movable. We got to know. And also, I think it's also important that we know when we can be an authority on things. Like, I feel like I can be an authority on the needs of mothers. Not all mothers, obviously, but I can be more of an authority on what mothers need than what lesbian women need. I can advocate for lesbian women. I can speak up for lesbian women. I can hold the torch for them. But it's not my place to be an authority figure on what they need. I can maybe make suggestions. I can maybe point things out. Okay? And same thing with black women, right? So I think that where we can find this middle ground is that we can discuss things, have conversations, but just know when we're not the authority on certain things. And entrust different groups to be the authority on their own lives, and that, they might not see everything perfectly, and that it's okay. We can bring things, forward and whatever. Oh, and what I meant to talk about too was the fact that I guess white women recently, I've been feeling stifled on the grounds of like the Karen trope, and that it is a way to belittle white women, because we know, just like black women, just like the whole angry black woman trope, a lot of times women in general are used used as like the scapegoat, really, for men, or just for like bad behavior of even like men, or just people in that whole class, right? So rather than dealing with bigger issues of like, maybe why black women are frustrated, it's, black women are angry, and let's focus on that. Rather than focus on, why white women are frustrated, or why white women, it's, white women are, they're the problem. Even the whole thing of like, these trans rights activists are going after TERFs rather than men. It is so much easier to go after women. It is so much easier to make women a little caricature, a little immature, infantile, over-emotional, just, they're always bitching, they're always emotional, they're so bitchy and annoying and obnoxious and this and that. And that's so much easier than to dealing with things, right? Even just the fact that women have, higher pitched voices, it makes us sound more like children. It's so easy that we're smaller in stature. We usually have children with us. It's so easy to infantilize a woman and make her look foolish and just stupid, like a caricature, than actually deal with things that are going on. Deal with her, her frustrations and her concerns. And the danger of the whole Karen trope is that it gives legitimacy to rape culture against women. And even, listen, and even rape culture of, even just different men against white women. It just diminishes, violence against white women when they're trying to talk about it. Oh, Karen's bitching again. Karen, here comes Karen, and so it's been a very successful campaign to silence and minimize and caricaturize white women. So just because, and I think that like, let's see. It says Americans have not processed the implications of slavery. They don't want to think about it exactly yet. The Americans are exporting their shit everywhere. Well, yeah, but people are also importing American shit everywhere, right? So it's like, rather than developing their own communications and things like that, other countries do have the ability to enforce their own, nation state lines and stuff, but when it's more appealing and easier and cheaper, and, you want to be part of the whole group culture and bring in, these shitty movies and stuff from Hollywood, that's how that happens. That's how cultural diffusion happens. It says, Max says, I've been called one before, TRAs too, before I put my picture up. Yeah, they'll call anybody yet. I've been called, I got called a Karen. Oh my God, yo, okay, here's a really quick example. So, I usually carry a gun. I've been pretty open about that, right? I have a little 9mm that I usually keep on me, and I have one I keep in the house. And so I remember I was at the Wawa, and is this like gas station, and there was a woman, and this guy, it was a white woman and a black man, and I remember like the guy was like screaming at her, and he like threw change in her face and kind of like pushed her and stuff, and she was like kind of like crying. It was clearly like a very severe domestic abuse situation. And like you know, they call like big stick energy, like when you have a gun on you, you like think you can like take on anything. Well, I didn't have it on me. I fucking forgot. But I like still like keep this attitude. So I was like, yo, I was like, yo, I like put on my like loud voice. I was like, hey, yo, I was like, fuck is you doing? And I was like, hey, yo, and I asked her, I was like, yo, are you okay? I was like, I just saw him put his hands on you. I was like, the fuck's going on? And then like he was in the car, like knocked on the window, yo. I thought I was like so tough. I was like, hey, yo, I was like, what's up? I was like, I just saw you throw some coins in her face. I was like, what's going on? I was like, yo, I'm really like this close to making a phone call. I was like, I don't like that shit. I'm sitting behind you. I see men to the left, men to the right. All of you are sitting around watching this shit go down. Why the fuck am I the only person who's walking up and about to check you about this? I was like, yo, don't let me see that again. And I was like, and you, are you okay? Should I call somebody? She was like, please don't say anything. I don't want to lose my kids. I don't want to lose my kids. And I was like, honey, you're going to lose your kids anyway if you sit there and allow this man to continue this. Like, and this is the type of man that'll kill you. And like, then he started getting loud, and he was like, hey, yo, mind your own fucking business, Karen. And I was like, huh? Yo, he was like, yeah, Karen, oh, like, you know, he's like, oh, you fucking Karens, yep, like to get in everybody's business. You, like, you know, it's so typical, you're a fucking clown, like, why don't you mind your fucking business, go back and sit in your car. And I was like, yeah, like, I'll show you a fucking Karen, what's up? And like, yo, these two guys next to us started laughing, and I was like, yo, both of you are fucking pussies for not, the fact that I'm sitting here checking this man, and both of you guys have been watching. Honestly, when I thought about it later, I was like, yo, that man totally could have killed me, because I had no way to back any of this up. Then he started walking towards me. He's like, yeah, like, what's up? Like, he was about to, like, fight me, and I was like, oh, shit, and I, like, realized I was like, I'm overcommitted at this point. I was like, fuck. I was like, I'm so not strapped. I'm so not fucking, like, matched for this guy, but I'm, like, way too, like, arrogant to back down. So I was like, yeah, like, what's up, pussy? Like, yo, I, like, kept stepping to him like I was gonna fight him, too, and I was like, fuck. And I was like, can somebody else, like, step in? Yo, because when I get tough, yo, I get, like, real tough. I was like, yo, I'll fuck you up. Like, I'll show you, Karen, what's really good. And, like, luckily, I think someone, like, alerted. There was, like, a police officer over there, and he came around. I was like, oh, thank God, officer. And as soon as the police came, I, like, started getting, like, 10 times loud. I was like, yeah, that's right, pussy. Like, I'll fucking, like, you put your hands on her again, I'll make one phone call. We'll carry you out this bitch. What's up? And I was like, yeah, I'll show you, Karen. Yo, as soon as I saw the cop, I was like, thank God. I had no way of standing up to this guy at all, yo. I was so tough, though. And the lady was like, oh my God. But I was like, yo, I really hope that, like, what. But anyway, he started getting loud and calling me Karen because he knew that it was going to make anybody who didn't really know what was going on with the situation think that I'm just being some, like, you know, nosy, busybody, like, uppity white lady. And I kept being like, yeah, I'll show you, fucking Karen. Like, what? Whatever. Like, yo, thank fucking God for that police officer. I could not fight that man. I was not strapped, and I was talking like I was. It was really bad. But anyway, okay. Sorry. Alright, so, alright, let's see. Alright, so I'm not going to go through all these. Bottom line is, alright, so that woman needs some of your power. Yeah, and you listen, I understand. That's another thing too. That's a whole other issue. It's like a lot of women do get their kids taken away from being in domestic abuse situations, and not knowing how to leave or not having the resources to leave, which makes them even more afraid to report it. And that's all she kept saying. She's like, please don't say anything. Please don't say anything. I don't want them to get my kids taken away. And it broke my fucking heart, because I was like, I whispered, I was like, hon, you're going to get your kids taken away regardless. Like, you can't. He will kill you. And the thing is, he will kill you. A man who hits you has a capacity. It really is telling you, broadcasting, he has a capacity to, in some way or another, kill you. like, oh my God, I know, my big mouth, oh my God, yo, I get so tough too. I was all like, yeah, what's up? Like, so ratchet. And I literally, like, and once he started walking towards me, I was like, oh fuck. I was like, wait, I can't pack this up at all. I was like, can somebody come help? But I was like, I guess I'm just going to fight this to the death, because I'm way too arrogant to acknowledge that I'm way over my head at this point. I'm already in it, so let's go. Alright, so let's see. Alright, so anyway, you guys get it. And listen, then, like, you know, shout out to, oh, can you guys see this part? I don't know. Oh, yeah, okay. Shout out to this woman, Ja. I think she got a lot of shit for exposing this, and I think that's why she ended up taking it down. So, listen, we hear you. We see you. You're valid. Like, you know, we've got to listen to each other, you know, and I think the frustration is that a lot of the backlash is people saying, oh, we've been trying to call this out, da 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 da. And it just really frustrates me that it was like two white women would rush to the forefront to say, oh, nothing to see here. We love black women. It's no racism problem. I'm like, women are literally telling you that it's a racism problem. And you're sitting here saying, oh, no, it's not. My soul is broken. That a woman would think that. Like, oh, okay, fucking Lisa. Like, great. So anyway, so then there's like, you know, and I remember that message that I gotten from the Mexican radical feminists. And the reason why I keep mentioning the fact that she's Mexican is just because it's an important part of the story, because she was like, listen, so much of my story comes from me, you know, leaving Mexico, coming here for a better life, and realizing that, you know, America is in such a state of just racial tension, and it's like me feeling like I had to just kind of accept second-class citizenship. And I talked to her for a lot more, and that's how she identifies as a Mexican feminist. Because listen, and that's another thing too, listen, even though race is a social construct, you know, our culture and our ethnicities are still important to us, and they still do, you know, another really kind of ignorant thing, oh shit, yeah, another kind of ignorant thing too is when people will be like, oh, I don't see race, I just see people. Well, if you don't see, like, and you know, and I've heard, you know, black women say, if you don't see race, then you don't see me. Because the fact of the matter is that our experiences in our cultures do shape us. They do. And that's okay. And we can acknowledge that we have different needs, different experiences. And that's why radical feminism cannot be a monolith. That's why it needs to be a framework. A framework that teaches women how to be critical, that teaches women how to, you know, apply certain core values to make the best possible life for themselves and to give them the best possibilities. Sometimes that's separatism. Sometimes that's hypergamy, right? Marrying up. I know you guys don't want to hear it, but sometimes it is. Sometimes, you know, and sometimes it's traditional family values. Sometimes it's, you know, being child free. Sometimes it's, you know, being in midwifery groups. It's let's teach women the opposite of choice feminism is not prescriptive feminism. It's not telling women what they need. It's teaching women how to think critically about what they need and how to get it. And giving them different routes, different options, different strategies for getting the most out of life. When I finally left my kid's father, I was nearly killed, and friends who've seen what I went through insisted I work it out with him for our son's sake. Yo, and it's so sad. That's why I stayed in my relationship for such a long time, because I really, really, really believed that, like, that, yeah, no, that was the right thing to do. Ugh, God, that's a whole other conversation that I just feel like needs to be had. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. All women should carry guns. Let's just be clear. All women should carry guns. I mean, if you're like mentally stable for it and all that. But you should learn how to carry. You should take ongoing classes, safety, training, cleaning, learn that shit. Learn it, learn it, learn it, learn it, learn it, learn it, learn it so well. Invest in a good one. Alright, so let's open up. Let's see, hold on. Okay. Alright, so this is so like I said, so because I was talking about it yesterday, these women went and put their pages on private, which really makes me believe that these women, I don't have proof for this because I know everybody wants proof, and the number one thing is, how do you know it's a RadFem? Listen, okay, there's a lot of toxic behavior in radical feminism, like whether you want to believe it or not, there just is. And, doesn't mean that I'm saying radical feminism has so much of what this culture needs. Let's just get that out of the way. I know radical feminism doesn't really like me, and sometimes I don't like it, and we've got a kind of this thing going on. But it's a very love-hate, because I recognize how powerful it is, and I recognize that I need it, and I love it. It's just, we're just going to have to be dysfunctional for a while till we figure out where I belong in all this. So I just think that radical feminism has so much of what our culture needs right now, but we just got to do a spring cleaning. If we haven't updated it since the 70s, that's a problem. Okay. Let's see. All right. So anyway, so the reason why I do feel like these women are somehow in some way connected to this community, as soon as I started talking about it on my very small platform, they all went on private. Okay. And if I have no connection to their community, why the fuck would they care if I, posted some screenshots and called it out? No, they must know that I have influence over some people that they want to stay in standing with, that they don't want to be revealed to, that clearly the word got back to them in some way or another. To me, it would be like if some totally random group, small, tiny page somewhere on the other end of the internet started like going, in on my page or something. I'd be like, okay, who cares? Right? The fact that like the word got to them so quickly and I didn't say anything to them specifically really makes me feel like, I don't have proof for that. I could be wrong, but makes me feel like that there's got to be some connection here. And just some of the like writing and just the vitriol that you read in the comments is really similar to what I've gotten. So, all right. A traumatizing father is not. Yeah, that's true. Who was in charge of that page? They found out quick. Exactly. Exactly. Excellenzic says, yeah, people underestimate the impact of poverty that you have when you're only related to poor people socially. Absolutely. And when you're ethnically a target community and geographically isolate them, that's why. Oh my God, listen. And that's like, I really, really, really want to have, I actually told my boyfriend I want to have him back on just because he has a wealth of insight. I know people give me shit for like talking about him and bringing him on and say that he doesn't belong on a feminist platform, whatever, because I think that he has a lot to teach us, and he really does listen. I mean, listen, anything I talk to you guys about, I talk to him about. Like, someone's like, oh, he'll never care about the issues that you talk about on here. I'm like, who do you think is my number one sounding board? I think he does have a lot of good insight. He has like a 8th grade education. He grew up in foster care. He was born during the crack epidemic. He was born addicted to crack. Like, he's so fucking brilliant. He's a very high IQ person. He's just a very sentient person. He has some really very unique insights that I think it's hard to get anywhere else. So I want to have him come on and talk about some of those other issues of like class and poverty and race. I think would be really valuable. We have men in this community, so why not on your channel? Yeah, if a man wants to be an ally, this you literally, thank you. You know what? That's all. I had one person say yes, so ha. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, so this is, I guess, so anyway, like I said, this is, so both the things are on private now, but You can always pull up archives of pages. I kind of wish that I didn't knee-jerk and start posting about it because it would have still been open. All right. Making fun of white women. What else is new? And listen, this could be a valid discussion point. We can talk about how, white women are being caricaturized and their needs are being minimized, and it's contributing to rape culture. All of that is valid and can be discussed. It's when you start dehumanizing other people in the process. Is my mic going in and out? Hold on, let me just double check this really fast. Okay. Alright, let's see. Alright, a little, and listen, like I said, just a warning. Some of this is going to be fucking very, very, very triggering and offensive. But a little muddling from Southeast Asia. So, alright, in an effort to make fun of white women, some of this stuff is just so incoherent. This brown, and everybody, and it's so crazy because like the 5 commenters are like, eloquent as always. Oh, you just nailed it. I was like, nailed what? Like, it's all a bunch of incoherent bullshit. They're like, yeah, it's just phenomenal. I mean, that's what, echo chambers will do for you. Just fucking reaffirm the most ridiculous shit. Alright, let's see. So, it's talking about, okay, so it says I guess in this, the two representation of white women is Bruce Jenner is not even a woman. And whoever this person is, note how one woman is actually a man and the other is a tranny whore from Poland. So when they say trannies, and I really read through this whole site, and they clarified that when they say trannies, they're not just talking about male to female trans-identified males. They also consider any woman who does a lot of plastic surgery or bleaches their hair, wears a lot of makeup. They consider them trannies. So yeah, because they say they're basically non-women. Sorry, I'm hot as shit. I'm gonna open up this window. All right. Okay. Have I mentioned that these PSCs are always willing to help white males further his misogyny? That's why I have no respect for them. The women of color are especially virulent. Listen, I'm so sorry, guys. This literally hurts me to read some of this shit. So just understand, it's just because we can't deal with it if we don't fucking expose it and if we tiptoe around it. We've got to just fucking go through it, okay? Please understand that this stuff is also very upsetting for me. It was very upsetting yesterday, especially. I'm just thinking about my daughters and my people that I love. It feels personal. So, alright, so women of color, especially virulent, always in line, looking to be fuck raped by whiteys. So, another claim that they make is that no women actually enjoy heterosexual, penetrative sex, that every woman fakes enjoying it just to, win favor with men and whatever, and that it's impossible for women to derive pleasure from having sex, so that technically, and I think this is all based off of that one supposed quote from what's her name? Oh my god, why am I drawing a blank? The one RadFem that everyone talks about, the anti-porn one. Fuck. Who am I talking about? Who's name some really important who's the one main RadFem that we Andrea Dworkin, sorry, brain freeze. So Andrea Dworkin, I think apparently had some quote saying that all penetrative sex is rape or something like that, but then she married a man. I don't know. I guess on the basis that women never derive pleasure from it and that it's always only to the benefit of men, which I can just say is not true. It's not. it could be true for women who feel like they're in compulsory heterosexual relationships who are not attracted to men, and I feel like that's where a lot of that comes from. That's good. I can only imagine that feels like rape. That it would feel like rape as if you are, sorry, if you were a homosexual woman and being forced, socially pressured, or forced by your family to be in a heterosexual relationship and then engage in sex with a man. It's fucking disgusting. And I can imagine that fucking breaks my heart. But as a woman who enjoys heterosexual sex, I can tell you that's not true. I think that healthy sexual relationships are very possible. I think that they're important to the health and well-being of women who want them. And that's another area where I just think that there's just a big breakdown where women bring trauma and it turns into this sort of like dogmatic where it's like, okay, so I have trauma that's now led me to feel this, and now you must feel that, or else you're like a handmaiden and you're just pandering to men. And we've got to get to the root of things. It's really important to get to the root of whenever there's kind of an extreme, rather than just dismiss extreme ideas, I think the real way to diffuse them is to really understand them, get to the root of it. Where is it coming from? We can even legitimize some of it by acknowledging the pain. And I think that's the true way to delegitimize stuff. If we just push stuff further and further out to the margin, say, oh, cancel it, forget it, shut it down, that doesn't make it go away. Okay? That's just pushing it over there. If we look at it, if we dialogue with it, try to get to the root of it, diffuse it, realize that maybe there's some legitimacy and it's not being dealt with properly. It's even like the whole transsexual thing. Maybe there's some legitimacy in why these people want to transition, and we know that. Let's get to the root of it and help healthier coping mechanisms and coping strategies for dealing with whatever it is that led to this. All right, my family comes from marginalized communities, and this is Naithanas. My family comes from marginalized communities and also raised in poverty. Once I realized about carrying trauma, things started falling into place. The depression and health problems out of thin air. No, Excellence, don't leave me. I know. I didn't mean to drop all these bombs on you at once, you guys. Oh, God, I know. What can we do but laugh? Because they consume porn. Porn is such a big issue. All right, who wrote this said material on the screen? I don't know. All right, let's see. Okay, and weren't we already all stocked up on fake-titted peroxide whores without importing more of them? So that Julie would, I guess that's like Jew. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's so stupid. Like, it would be offensive if any of it were, like, intelligent, but it's so fucking stupid that it's, like, it's kind of hard to, like, even be offended, because it's like, alright, these people are fucking idiots. I had more fodder to make fun of white women. By the way, this is now 70 years old, but every inch disgusting tranny hoe. Oh, Jesus Christ. And the comments are really bad, too. Let's see. Where are the comments? Okay. Yet white women remain stupid enough to go along with the schemes of not just white males, but all these various people of color, piece of shit who openly hate them. Angeline is not white, but a Jew. With all the plastic, she spent her disgusting life trying to look white, but no, she's a fucking, oh my God, Jesus fucking Christ. That big Jew snout has been redone so many times it rivals Michael Jackson. I'm so done with non-whites. Wish they'd all give back all the toys they got from creativity and hard work of white people and go the fuck home. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. We have to laugh at this, you guys. I'm sorry. Like, they're right out, like, it's so fucking insane. Listen, this is not, and this has to be dragged into the light so that we can fucking deal with it. And It's just fucking insane. So that's one. Okay. No white female taxpayers will no longer pay for the upkeep of male animals in prisons. Male animals will be penned up and will have to forage for themselves until... I mean, listen, I think we could all relate to, like, that somewhat, you know, male rapists. That's one thing. But again, like, saying that there's not rapists and, you know, males, even as Exalancic said, you know, males are sexual opportunists. That's their you know, women have to gatekeep sexuality. Men cannot carry or create children on their own. They have to find somebody who will carry their children. If they don't have the self-esteem or knowledge that they are quality enough to attract a mate on legitimate terms, you know, there is a hardwired kind of anxiety about reproducing, right? That can lead to rape. Or to even just coercion, or lying, or, you know, so, but let's see. So they also seem to have a hatred for white men in general, too. But, let's see. Wow, a lot of this is stuff. Okay, see, this is, like I said. Yes, that's the one's not archived. Let's see. Now, the one that I wanted to really show is Orwell's Daughter. Oh, so that one was from Orwell's Daughter. Okay, here, let's see. There's, all right, here's a Let's Go Separatist. One of them is talking about they want to build a, like, separatist commune specifically. I wanted to pull that one up. Hold on, I have it in here. Let me just grab it out of here rather than waste time trying to figure out where the hell it is. Hold on. Let's see. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to... I don't want to go through every fucking traumatic thing on here. I think it's important to kind of distill down some of this stuff. Let's see. What's this one? Well, and it also talks about how, like, you know, that all women... that like feminism really isn't for all women. It's just for like the smart white women who reject men. Oh God. Let's see. Like the general population, women aren't getting any smarter. Rad Dan. Can any woman with silicone tits be included in your Miss Thang category? Breast cancer survivors excluded, of course. So they did talk about here. Let me just pull. All right, we'll start to wrap this up, and maybe we'll get into this more later. It's just so much to unpack, you guys. But let me just really fast read. Let's see. Shit, sorry guys. Alright, so separation includes dumb cunts. Alright, you guys want to hear some like real poetry? This is wonderful. Separation includes dumb cunts by letsgoseparatists.wordpress.com. The R slur, the RETADRS slur, who imagine themselves to be, quote, radical feminists, think that a world with no men is possible. So this person also talks about how radical feminists are, like, not radical enough. It's confusing. Their flacco heap-goal masses have convinced them that some sort of Bolsheviki utopia is possible. But of course, none of these lemmings... Oh, so their biggest problem of like traditional, of like mainstream radical feminism is that radical feminists sees all women as victims or all women as like essentially good. And their idea is that no, a lot of women are pieces of shit, that virtually all men are pieces of shit, and that there's only some few women that are worth being saved. I'd like to remind these tards that the cage door has been open for 48 years. Each state required that white women arduously work to have themselves written out of law chattel slaves, so one single date cannot be named. That's right, white women not only fought for black males to be released from slavery before they themselves were released from slavery, something I'm sure they would have regretted had they seen how virulently blacks hate on, rape, and murder white women today, but they had also had to fight dozens of different fights to have the chattel slavery laws against white women changed in each state. Additionally, even after they weren't legally chattel slaves anymore, they had very little recourse but to continue to be dickwad's slave. On top of this, they could be fuck raped at any time he felt like it, and abortion was extremely dangerous and expensive. So I'm using 1973 as a date when the cage door really opened for women in this country. Thanks to the Herculean efforts of our white European grandmothers, no one is forcing any woman to pretend to like a dick in her, to get married, to force other people here, etc. Oh yeah, another thing is they're like super anti-natalist. Which is different from being child-free by choice. Right, so being child-free and anti-natalist are different. Anti-natalist is, I can show you guys a very alarming anti-natalist video. Let's see, so please, tards, stop acting as if we're all the same when dumb cunts take the easy route and a few of us don't. Women who don't give a crap about what their great-grandmothers fought for and can cavalierly flush it down the toilet while putting us all a little closer to going back under the boot deserve everything they get and more. Here, I could probably pull this up as I'm reading it. No, I guess not. Alright, so fuck you to all the dumb cunts who are too lazy, too uncaring, too silly to do anything besides suck dick. I mean, yep, I'm talking about 95% of feminists. Fuck you. May you choke on that dick before he strangles you to death because you allow him to reenact vicious pornography on your body. May you die like you lived as a lemming whore. What the fuck? It's like so ridiculous. Okay. So my utopia... It's like not funny, but like kind of. So my utopian vision is a world without dickwads and their dumb cunts. I'm a realist, and I know this is not possible, but I just want to make it clear that dumb cunts are no better than dickwads. So this would explain that this is why, when I read this, I was like, okay, because like I used to be like, oh, you guys are being so misogynistic. Isn't that like against like radical feminism? By like all the really degrading stuff they would call me, but I'm like, oh no, they just consider me a dumb cunt. I guess I fall into the category of a dumb cunt. So that's where all that's coming from. I was like, okay. Who is bringing these violent assholes into existence if it isn't dumb cunts? So that's mothers, by the way. Who brings them into your neighborhood where you get to also be threatened even though it's not you who sucks his disgusting dick? Who lets the mini dickwads, the children, that the dumb cunt created with her own body get hopped up on pornography and reenact it on some little girl? Who will then defend the little rapist? Who is front and center when welcoming violent brown assholes to the countries created by white women? Who is so vile that she'll even get tattoos? I feel like when you like, I like hit all of the points because of like the dumb cunt that they're talking about. It says, who is so violent that she'll even get tattoos indicating that she is a white slave to nig males and only allows herself to be fuck raped. It's so ridiculous. By Nick Nails. I'm sorry. This is so offensive. This is so offensive, and I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Who doesn't mind collecting daddy's, hubby's ill-gotten corporate shekels so she can live like the pig that she is? Who is so violent that she'll even subjugate herself to serial killers and marry them? Who poses for pornography because she is too damn lazy to get an education or a real job? Who then has the utter gall to cry victim for all the things she's done to herself and to women as a group? The list is actually endless. It's almost as long as the list of offenses committed by males themselves. So please don't talk about feminism like it has anything to do with these weak, greedy, lazy, oh my God. Disgusting creatures who don't mind. Yeah, someone says it's so offensive, it's hilarious. It really is. It really, really is. Yeah, sorry, I'm almost, guys, I'm going to have to tap out too in a minute. But, so please don't talk about feminism like it has anything to do with these weak, greedy, lazy, disgusting creatures who don't mind bringing us all down to their level. Don't insult my white European great-grandmothers. Copyright 2021, Rescinda LaVerge. Let's see. Let's see if I can get... Oh, God. Fuck. I don't know if I'm going to get you guys to be able to see it on here. Follow me on Getter. At A here. I'm going to put up my Getter. If you guys want to actually see, like, all of this shit, so you guys know I'm not making it up. Is my Getter. Okay, that's my Getter, you guys. I'm going to pin it. So I'll just post more of that sort of stuff. So, thank you. It's so ridiculous, you guys. I suspect the women that say that it's a choice to be straight are actually straight women protesting too much while trying to pretend to be lesbians. Yeah, well, that would sound like someone that we know. A lemming whore. Is that one that gets all the male lemmings to follow her off the cliff? I've not seen David Attenborough cover this yet. I really don't understand why some women act like lesbianism is an accomplishment. If you're attracted to women, that's just your nature. You didn't do anything to make it happen. Well, but then you have like the whole... Yeah, I know. Listen, and there's another person who goes into like gold star lesbianism. All right, I'm gonna listen. I don't want to like say who these people are because I don't want to start a big shit show. But here's two prominent content creators. And one person who I'm sure a lot of us have interacted with. Okay, this is another one from two separatists. And then I'm going to sign off after this. And we can keep talking about this another time. But this makes sense where a lot of the vitriol is towards it. And also, when I first came in, I was really confused because I'm like, yeah, we're anti-sex work, but we're not anti-sex workers. Because it seemed like there was a lot of vitriol and hatred towards women who were actually trapped in sex work. And I was kind of like, I'm confused. Like, I thought, well, aren't we, like, trying to save them and protect them? And then I realized that there's a lot of these ideas that it's like these women are purposely subjugating themselves and it's their fault and they deserve vitriol. All right, so here, let's see if you, tell me if you can hear this.
In a world shoved to the brink of total annihilation, because of what thousands of years of the rule by men has done to it, abortion has become a moral imperative. To have a child now, or to have had one for the last 50 or so years, is tragically irresponsible. Thanks to the biotic collapse brought on by the exploitative nature of patriarchy, childbearing sets up mothers for a nightmare future where they must endure knowing and seeing their child is destined to have an unnaturally short and violent life. Seeking to end safe abortion access is at best uninformed evil and at worst intentionally hypocritical evil. A post from the blog Lesbianist Art.
Okay, so that was one. Sorry. So that's from one antinatalist, And then here's from another separatist. So listen, we gotta like deal with some of this stuff because again, separatism is legitimate. Even like not antinatalism in the way that it's like attacking and saying that like mothers are immoral and basically like deserving of scorn, but presenting a child-free by choice lifestyle is totally legitimate. Like there's these legitimate things underneath these like more psychotic variations of them. It is legitimate to say that listen, women can lead fulfilling wonderful lives without having children, and it should be a very critical thought process to decide whether or not having a child is right for you. And then there's other things that go into having a child, because at the end of the day, single motherhood is really difficult, and it's really really bad for women and children. And I know that people fucking get mad at me for saying that. It's true. I've been a single mother. I know what it's like. Okay, and at the end of the day, so if you're committed and willing to commit to a more traditional family setup, and certain things that are really necessary to thrive as a parent of children, then that's what you need to understand that's going to come with it. If you don't want to commit to those things and you think that those things lead to the subjugation of you as a woman, all that's legitimate. Then choosing a child-free life is also legitimate. Again, it's the opposite of choice feminism. Is not prescriptive feminism. It's not telling what women should do. It's teaching them how to think critically. Right? Let's see.
Post from the blog Lesbianist Art. She is the creator of the Leastbound webcomic and a friend of mine. She received an anonymous ask that says, I get your disapproval of makeup and HRT and mastectomies. Those are unnecessary. But what if someone is straight? What if, as a woman, you want romance and companionship and are only attracted to men, but you're also gender critical? Does that mean for ideological purity, you need to condemn yourself to a life of celibacy? Lesbianist Art answered, ideological purity. I'm so sick of seeing this whiny, manipulative tactic. Not partnering with men is not to appease some angry lesbian god you've made up. It's for your safety. Partnering with men puts you at risk. Or are all the statistics women share and talk about too ideologically pure for you to read? Come on. Condemned to a life of celibacy. Again, nobody is coming into your house to steal your fucking Nigels away. You know not every same-sex attracted woman gets happily paired off with another woman, right? Some same-sex attracted women don't have an interest in dating or can't find someone they're compatible with, so they don't. They haven't lost the ability to make enriching friendships or fucking masturbate. You don't need men. You want one. This is what I think a more appropriate way to use comphet would be. The idea that straight women truly believe it's compulsory to be with a man to live a fulfilled life. Guess who benefits from women believing that? Could it be the oppressor class with a propensity to rape, abuse, watch porn, trap women with pregnancies, dump all the domestic labor onto women? I do not understand how you can want to be with the sex class that does all this awful shit. Fuck, I see those posts about men not wiping their fucking asses or talking about how much they want to hurt women during and after sex, and I think, fuck, I would avoid that mess altogether if I was straight. There are so many happy, single women living fulfilling lives without men, and they're not even talking about all the horrors of male violence on a regular basis. They're just making a common sense decision. Stop pretending radical feminism is some religion. It's not about fucking purity. It's about integrity, to stick to what you believe, and again, your safety. You say you understand the makeup and the shaving and the HRT and being baffled by gender crit women who still do that, right? There's women among them who also call that ideological purity. I can't force you or anyone to do anything, but I'm allowed, especially in the framing of radical feminist critique, to be annoyed and voice my disappointment at seeing women calling themselves RadFems, who then go on to date, marry, have kids with men, along with all the other stuff. Would you call a vegetarian an ideological purist for expressing disappointment at other people who call themselves vegetarian but continue to eat meat? The rest of the world is happy to praise you for being a good woman and partnering with a man. A tiny niche of women rolling their eyes is not.
Okay. Anyway, so like I said, listen, the problem is too, it's like separatism is such a I'm gonna finish off with this, and we can maybe finish this another time. Child-free feminism. The idea that women do not need to have families, do not need to be mothers to have fulfilling, happy lives, that there are benefits to not having children that are more freeing, is so crucial to the well-being of women, and it is such an important option that we make available for women. Female separatism, that we can live amongst other women, create our own dynamics that are free from the influence of men, especially for women that have been victims of abuse or who just don't want to live with men, is such a crucial and important option. When I first came into radical feminism, I was slut-shamed, I was mocked for my appearance, I was mocked for my body, I was sexualized, I was objectified, I was degraded, I was doxxed, I've had my dead nephew made fun of, I've, been made fun of for breastfeeding, for being, I've had the most disgusting things said to me, and this is from like day one of entering radical feminism. And the things that brought me to radical feminism are the main tenets. It's the anti-porn, anti-sex work, that sex is real, that gender is bullshit, that men cannot become women, that women deserve safe spaces for men. And I immediately almost was turned off to it. And it's if we are allowing this level of toxicity, and if people are going to keep looking at it and saying, oh, well, it's just this white, radical, kind of extreme, bizarre, fanatic sort of feminism, all of its gifts are going to be left to expire and spoil without ever being opened, and all the things that it could do for women. Again, it's not about forcing women or telling women how to apply it to their own lives. As a heterosexual woman, I want to attract men. I enjoy, and again, this is this other woman who brought up this really, she's like a scholar of religion and was talking about the fact that human beings have been adorning themselves with makeup and with jewelry and beautiful garments for millennia. Millennia. It's literally encoded in our DNA animals do it. Animals will pick up feathers and stuff, and even male peacocks fucking have evolved to have these, beautiful feathers and put on a display to get partners. And courtship and dating and heterosexuality can be this really beautiful thing. It's about teaching women how to navigate it in a smart way. If you're heterosexual and if you want a partner, we can teach women how to make better choices. We can teach women how to not end up single mothers. We can teach women how to prepare themselves for the best possible outcomes, and then we can still erect safety nets for even if that stuff doesn't go as planned. Okay? Again, in this idea that, like they said, is that domestic violence is exclusive to heterosexual relationships. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because on the one hand, I'll hear that, if you want to avoid domestic violence, then go force yourself to go partner with a woman, or go use a vibrator, make female friends. What kind of that's like celibacy only, sex education. That's not helping women prepare them for anything. No, heterosexual women are going to pursue heterosexual relationships. Some are going to choose not to. Let's equip women with all of the knowledge and the tools necessary. Okay? Yes, heterosexual partnership is a fucking power move sometimes. You can't tell me otherwise. My mom has lived a gorgeous life with my father, who has treated her like a queen since day one, who has fucking worked his ass off. She's lived a life and he's always, she's been empowered to do a lot of things through their union. My parents have a very strong, very productive marriage. And I think maybe that's why I come from a perspective that sees how valuable productive marriages can be. My sister is in a very productive marriage. I happen to marry somebody who had very late onset mental health disorders, and that stuff happens. Okay, I would have never seen that he was going to end up being violent and ended up having substance abuse issues. He had never, ever even smoked marijuana. By the time I met him, he had tried alcohol once on his 21st birthday, never smoked weed before, never tried a cigarette, never done drugs, right? He had always graduated top of his class, had top academic scholarships to everything, was a very high-functioning person. Immediately got a job working on Wall Street, straight out of college. We made a lot of money early on, okay? We bought houses. He supported me. He paid for my education, paid for a lot of things. So that I should have somehow had x-ray vision and known that he was going to, end up becoming addicted to prescription narcotics and then become violent. No, but that's why it's important that we have safety nets. That doesn't always happen, Again, my brother and his wife have very productive marriage. Yes, marriages can be very productive. They can be, if we teach women, the problem is we're not teaching women anymore how to go through a courtship. We're not teaching men how to, prepare and plan for these things. People are just getting pregnant and then quick building a life around it. We've gone so far the other way, so far towards this, just have sex and figure it out and who knows, We've totally disintegrated the extended family. The extended family is done. We barely are clinging on to the nuclear family for dear life. That's almost done. It's harming women. So telling them that they should go live in communes is not the fucking answer for everybody. But it is an essential option for women. And we need to keep it alive and don't make it all fringe and fucking weird. And it's going to turn off women who could really benefit from it. Survivors of domestic violence can really, really benefit from women-only exclusive living spaces. Okay? Women in crisis pregnancy situations who don't want to have an abortion really, really benefit from women-only living spaces. Let's one of the, and I'm going to go after this, but one thing I really want to talk about in one of my next videos, one of the greatest influencers of male behavior across time, culture, since the beginning of humankind has been securing sex with women, securing a partner, and securing a woman who will carry his children for him. The greatest way that we can influence male behavior is to be highly, highly selective in which men qualify to have sex, which men earn sexual relationships with women. This whole idea that the problem is it made it so easy now for any man to get sex because now women are on birth control, which was a very important development. But birth control, abortion, condoms, Plan B made it so that we can just, all these loser men can get sex easily because women are less vigilant about it. Before, each and every single sexual contact could potentially result in a child, which is why women were hyper vigilant about which men they gave sex to, which is why women would only engage in sex with a man that she was married to, because should it result in a child, she needed to make sure that she had that framework built around her. Now it's these men can get sex easily. They don't value it. Before, men had to build themselves. He had to come with something. He had to come. Look, I've spent my life busting my ass and developing myself with an education, I've worked hard. I've accomplished all this stuff so I can, earn a woman who will accept me, who will maybe, carry my child and will have a relationship with me. Once he's earned that, he's much less likely to let it go. It's not just, oops, we got pregnant, let's build a fucking family around it. No, when he's busted his fucking ass to go through to work for that woman, and he's made a commitment before her family and his family and the whole fucking community, and saying, this is my family, and knowing that it's not going to be that easy to replace. No, he's not that quick to just fucking, like, let it all fall to shit. But now it's like everybody's fucking everybody, and all, it's just such a big fucking mess, and women are paying the price because they're winding up pregnant, and now we'll maybe quick try to make it work, and I don't know, and then it falls apart anyway. We've got to teach women how to reclaim one of their greatest powers and greatest influencers of male behavior, which is sexual gatekeeping. Only men of the highest caliber, of the highest quality, should ever have access to sex with women. Should only have access to a woman's body. Every loser male should be condemned to have his lineage die with him. No one should carry a child for him. He is not owed sex. He doesn't deserve sex. And if it makes him uncomfortable, he's going to have to change himself and evolve and become qualifying of a sexual relationship, of a partnership, of a marriage, of a child. Stop giving these losers sex. We can have these conversations. They're a higher level and more fucking mature, more productive than just saying, oh, every woman who's heterosexual is a fucking dumb cunt. Like, come on, yo. Okay? Let's help create situations where lesbian women are not forced into compulsory heterosexual relationships. That is rape. That is rape, and that's fucking disgusting, yo. That's fucking disgusting to make any lesbian woman accept dick in her life. That's fucking sick. That is rape. It's fucking disgusting for any woman who doesn't want to be in a relationship, who wants to enjoy being alone, and who's happy being alone, to fucking pressure her into motherhood, that hurts everybody, or into fucking partnering. Radical feminism should be a fucking framework, a set of principles that we apply that protect women and that empower women, and it's going to have to apply to different women differently. Black women are going to have different needs than Latina women. Latina women are going to have different needs than white women. But we're going to have lots of overlapping needs too. Lesbian women are going to have different needs than heterosexual women or bisexual women or postmenopausal women or women who are mothers or women who are planning to become mothers or women who don't want to be mothers. Let's give women the ability to think very critically and how we can work with the world around us to get the best for ourselves, to protect our interests. And we must protect each other. We must. We are our greatest allies. Don't let anyone tell you anything else. Lesbian communities are slowly being taken over by trans-identified males. It's extremely disturbing, and any woman that speaks out gets shunned. And we should all be fucking talking about it. Every single fucking person needs to talk about it, and we all need to stand by lesbian women, because the fact of the matter is that lesbian women are a small minority. So they can't fight this battle alone. This is why we have to have their backs, and we have to have their backs hard. We need to be sharing. This is why, listen, I'm not lesbian. I'm only recently learning about a lot of the issues facing the lesbian community, but I've shared my platform, and I've used my platform to just talk about it as much as I can. And I'm not the authority. I'm taking what I'm learning, and I'm trying to, that's what we need to do for each other. We need to listen to each other. When we know that we're not an authority on a specific subsection of women, do more listening than talking. Okay? And then take what you're being told and help amplify. Your job is to amplify. Not to try to tell, lesbian women what they need. Lesbian women shouldn't be trying to tell heterosexual women what they need. We can suggest things to each other. We can try to, share things with each other. But at the end of the day, let's stop treating women like they're fucking children and need someone to hold their hand and give them a prescription for how to fucking live. Let's give them the tools to think critically. And trust that women are smart. Women are survivors. We're fucking survivors, yo. Anyway, let's see. I'm child free and I'm married, so I live another way. I just recognize the importance for being benefit most women, which is why I support family friendly policy. Yeah, listen. I'm sorry. There's nothing more insulting than listening to, heterosexual women try to tell lesbian women that what they should accept, that they should accept, trans identified males and all this stuff. There's also nothing more insulting than having women who have never been mothers trying to tell women who are mothers what they need and what's best for them and talk to it's so enraging, because I remember when I wasn't a mom, and boy was I the best mom in the world before I had kids. You couldn't tell me shit. Oh, when I have kids, oh, look at that mom. Oh my God, well, when I have kids, everyone is the best fucking parent in the world until they have kids. And then life kicks them in the ass and they really realize, like, what it's really hitting for. So please, have a little bit of humility and recognize that maybe you don't know what you're talking about. Okay? Maybe you don't know what you're talking about. Women with children are a very, very vulnerable class of women. Okay? And I don't have time to pander to the feelings of other people when it comes to the needs of women. The fact of the matter is that there is a specific need for family, extended ties, trying to peddle women that they should do everything as single mothers, work, take care of kids, build a house, protect themselves, is so dangerous. I know. I used to get scared of getting sick when I had kids by myself in a house. I used to be terrified. What would happen if I was too sick to get up and one of the kids was hurt? It is a dangerous situation to push women towards. Too many women are trapped in that now. Okay? So anyway, alright, I gotta go. I gotta go pick up my son. Holy shit, I've been on here for a while. Let me just quick look at any of this. Oh God, you guys have so many good comments on here. Bigot bingo is always wild. So few people only tick one box. That's so true. So true. Stop hating on the ethnic snouts. I feel called out personally. Oh no, elusive vulture. Listen, I get called Junos a lot, or at least I feel like not as much recently, but I used to get called Junos a lot. Which it's like, no, I think it's like, let's bring that shit back. I think it's sexy. Like, let's like love on our ethnic like stuff. Like, I don't know, it's exciting, the fact that like, I don't know. It's like, you know what really made me love my features is when I saw a picture of my great grandmother and saw how much I looked like her. How much I had her nose and I had her face. Oh, Exelanzic too, when she was here, said, FYI, Smokin' Feds did not write the content with the Let's Go Separatists. Yes, Smokin' Feds only did a bunch of like, really like, I don't know, like just I don't know, like super like edgelord type stuff. I'm sure some of it really was rooted in real racism and white supremacy, and I want to get to the bottom of that. But at the end of the day, a lot of it was just really immature, kind of like edgy, like just trying to be as offensive as possible. No, the Let's Go Separatist stuff is not Smokin' Feds. And like I said, I still have an open invitation for her to come on here if she wants to and wants to talk about it and just fucking get through it. But yeah. Let's see. Oh God, there's so many good comments in here. I'm gonna go through a lot of this stuff, and we'll come back. This is gonna have to be an ongoing conversation. You guys are awesome. Yep, it says apparently women gain IQ points after they have children. Not surprising. Ah, ha, ha. Somebody tried to tell me on here that women lose IQ points after they said the reason why I'm so stupid is because they heard that women lose IQ points after they have kids, and I have 4 of them, so I must be really fucking stupid. And I guess that was a radical feminist. Yes, it was a radical feminist. Oh, are you sure it was a radical feminist? Are you sure it wasn't like a TRA or a male posing? Yo, a lot of people seem to think that there's a whole bunch of males posing as RadFems and who have a bunch of like who consistently LARP as RadFems and like really, really like live the role, like, you know, are subscribed to all the RadFem stuff and, you know, pretend to like some of it and not like, listen, RadFems are capable of saying really fucking vicious stuff. I know that's hard for some people to believe. But, so thank you. I appreciate you saying that mothers gain IQ points. I'll accept that as fact, whether it is or not. I don't care. Alright, guys. So, thank you so much. Alright, ONC, Madadam. Thank you so much for the stream. I appreciate this discussion happening. Just so you know, supporting the institution of marriage and nuclear family, these goals are completely antithetical to radical feminism. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit because clearly radical feminism supports a lot of fucking weird shit too, like political lesbianism and single. You know what I was told? So you know what I was told when I asked? I said, okay, well, what's your solution for mothers? Well, first, it's the two options. It's women shouldn't be mothers, and women who are already mothers should go with a commune of other single mothers and raise their children together so that, let's see, a bunch of single mothers should do 100% of the work while the men aren't responsible for anything, right? They get to go off and live their lives and women do all of it. Yeah, that's so super fucking feminist. Like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? That doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. Okay? I know, I do think that a nuclear family isn't good enough. I think the extended family is what's needed. Because a nuclear family still, it just keeps a mother and a father in their own segregated space. And that's not good enough. We need to expand the community further. But no, I don't give a fuck if it's antithetical to radical feminism. I don't care. And I already know that I'm going to get a bunch of fucking shit posts from like, you know, the stalkers that I have. I really don't fucking care because, you know, peddling that shit to women who want to be mothers and young mothers is so dangerous. And if you're not a mother, you really, like, it's just because a couple of white women from the 1970s wrote some shit, it's not gospel. And for the RadFems who are saying, oh, you know, radical feminism isn't a religion. Well, then stop acting like it is. And as if these women from the 70s who lived in a profoundly different world than what we live in now fucking were like the know-all, be-all, you know, like Jesus of writing this as a gospel. It's not, okay? No, that shit, that's bullshit, okay? I think for women who don't want to have children, who don't want to be partnered with men, yeah, should stay away from all that stuff. We can talk about reforming it, but no, telling women that they should be single mothers is insane. And the woman who told me that rather than partnering with the men that you carry children for, and that all those women should go live in a commune with other single mothers and share in 100% of the work. You know what the funny thing is? She lives with her father in her 40s. And when she was called out for being a fucking hypocrite, she's like, I don't understand. That's my best friend. So what, I'm like a bad person for loving my father? Well, I won't apologize. So it's okay for you to have your father, who you have lived with for 40 fucking years, but you don't want other women to have fathers for their children. And by the way, her parents are still married. Her parents have an intact marriage and she still lives with them. But is advocating for women to what? Pursue single motherhood? No, get the fuck out of here, okay? The only people who think that's a good idea are people who are either non-heterosexual or just don't have kids, don't want to have kids, know nothing about having kids. Stop peddling stupid shit. You've got to recognize when shit is stupid, and that's stupid. I'm sorry. I've worked with mothers my entire adult life. No, that's really dangerous. That hurts women. And if that's antithetical to radical feminism, well, then that area of radical feminism is very anti-woman, anti-feminist. Okay? So I don't give a shit. Yeah, that shit is like, I'm sorry, that's just like a noise. Shit. I'm not leaving my husband and my animals to join a racist women Yeah, you got me fucked up. If you think of it like pack my kids up to come live with like those psychopaths. Yeah, no, I'm cool. I'm all the way cool. I'll take my beautiful mixed race, multiracial daughters and we'll stay with our my loving and committed boyfriend who, yeah, no, thanks. Thanks for like the cool invite to like the fucking cool commune. I'm good though. You guys can give my fucking space to somebody else. I'm all the way good. Sharing a home with a man is actually one of the most dangerous things she can do statistically. Wait, is one of the most dangerous things she can do statistically. The most dangerous. So more than what? Speeding on the other side of the highway? Come on, you guys. That's fine. Then don't partner with them. You know what's also dangerous? Being at home alone as a single mother. God forbid you get sick. God forbid there's an emergency. Telling, like, again, if how many women in here who are actually mothers think that this is a phenomenal idea? It's just that all women should have 100% of the... I gotta go because it's just gonna start pissing me off. All right, you guys, I gotta go. Like I said, there, and that's fine. Listen, if that's what makes me, then if that makes me incompatible with radical feminism, fine. Then I would like to take the anti-porn, anti-sex work, and anti-gender bullshit and just create some other fucking subsection, okay? Because no, I'm not going to adopt what I know are stupid and dangerous ideas. I think that female separatism is very, very important. And it's very important that we protect that. And that's why I'm fighting to protect it against the gender bullshit and the gender ideologues. But trying to say that that's what we should just establish, that we should have a big segregated society and no women should partner with men is stupid. It's not realistic. Everybody knows that. Anyway, all right, you guys, I gotta go. Radical feminism is inherently anti... Well, if that's true, Crescent Men, then why does it seem to be such a hotbed for racism? Just Just saying something isn't so doesn't make it so. Alright, you guys. I love you. I'm going to read through all these, but I got to go. Bye. Thanks for hanging out with me. See ya.